Hello viewers of the channel. I'm going to do somewhat of a mixed video. It's going to be part developer diary, it's going to be part tutorial I guess, and it's also going to be part showcase of something that I have been working on. Okay, so what we have here is the Thieves Guild standard armor from Skyrim. Okay, why am I here? It's related to a mod that I have been working on, but I want to begin with a little bit of an example of what is called inspiration, and it's a mod that you may know. It is called Bandoliers, Bags and Pouches by Dracton. Dracton is a really cool guy, and that's a really useful mod if you want to, play the game and begin your hoarding experience in a quote-unquote immersive way, because like for Skyrim players, it's all about immersion. So, but what I want to use that is to show a topic that is really important, and is how you build things in a game in a way that makes sense, in a way that you don't break the suspension of disbelief, in a way that it feels realistic, and also that tails into the topic of ergonomics for characters, but also for real life. So in any case, this is the standard model, and what Dracton did in his mod, again, Bandoliers, Bags and Pouches, is that he took in-game assets, and this is a really common way of making mods for many games. You take an in-game asset, and then you tweak it, you alter the mesh a little, and then you create something new. For example, in the case of the Bandolier, he took this one here, and he made it available for any other player class. I have the examples here, and what he did is really clever, because what if you want to wear this armor but want to use perhaps the larger bandolier, and then you have like things clipping, and that is the other big topic in this video. Clipping is something that is unavoidable, as you can see here. When you work with games, it's no matter what, no matter how well animated, no matter the amount of detail, at least at this point you're gonna get some clippings one way or another. Parts of the mesh are going to go through some others, and what he did is really clever. He made it a little bit wider, and you can barely notice that in game. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's not noticeable. So what I'm doing is, because I like this mod so much, is I began making my own that adds more variety of of pouches, satchels, and things like that. And I'm using his as a guideline. This is the part that goes to ergonomics, and I'm going to use a little bit of some modern terms. I don't know, we're talking about a fantasy game, quote-unquote medieval fantasy game. But to understand what I'm doing and how to make these things for games in a way that makes sense for at least a humanoid body, let's use those. So, what I have here is a mixed loadout. In red are the pouches that go on the front, the smaller ones, the ones that are taken from the original mesh. On the sides are the utility ones, let's say a bit bigger. And on the back we have two flasks. I mean, you could say that they're canteens nowadays, but these are flasks. They're made of glass and covered with leather. Why am I using this as a guideline? Because basically what you see here in the waistline of the character, it's the typical loadout for a belt kit of any infantry soldier today. It's the classic one, the one that is not attached to the vest and things like that. It's the one that you wear on the belt. The logic with this is that the pouches that I'm going to carry, things that are most used or things that need to be at hand, go on the front, right? So you could say it, and that's what you see in modern times. Ammunition pouches there, the magazines go there, left and right. And towards the side, you have utilities. Could be anything from first aid kit or like a weapon cleaning kit, stuff like that. Again, using modern terms here. And on the back, especially over the kidneys, are the canteens, because while hydration is really important, you're not going to be drinking water all the time, right? You're not going to have them on the front. And also, the more towards the back that you go, right, the bulkier they get, and you can afford that. While in the front, if for example you want to go prone, things like that, you want to have the flat pouches, so your profile doesn't raise up as much from the ground. Now it's really interesting that we have these options here in a game like Skyrim, again, like I said, because this looks really modern altogether. Returning to the topic of clipping, you see that here there's clipping. Now I understand why Drakten did this, is because most of the belts in the game, if you look at them, they follow the waistline, and a human waistline is not a perfect ellipse. It goes a little bit, downwards towards the belly, between your pelvis, your crotch, and your belly button. So they go a little bit downwards. So that makes it compatible with the majority of the belts on the character models in game of the armors. Ironically, it doesn't make it much compatible with the one that the assets are taken from, which is this one, the Thieves Guild armor. But these are his bigger box pouches. Again, they are based off this armor, and he does follow this line. And this is still, you see that they go downwards. They follow the line. You have your booty here, big round butt, like lifting those pouches up, and then on your hips they go a bit diagonally, and then they end up on your belly button or downwards. Now, I said that I was going to talk about ergonomics, and the truth is, the best way for any human being to carry heavy stuff is on his or her hips. It's a natural load-bearing structure. The hips are here, and if you put enough padding, you can carry really heavy stuff, and that's why most hiking or backpacking backpacks have a nicely padded hip belt. Sorry, they have semi-rigid parts and then a lot of cushioning. So again, we are keeping in something that is anatomically correct, something that feels natural when the character model is animated. Now, enough of the let's say the theory behind it. Now let me show you what I have done. Using the same technique that Drakten used, taking assets from the game, I built two things. This bag that is inspired, actually, I love saying that, by the manga Berserk, which I highly recommend if you can stomach it. If you're a bit flimsy, don't watch it. Don't read it or don't watch the anime. It can be, kind of harsh. In any case, that's beside the point. A bag, or a satchel in this case, and a scabbard holder. Now, as you may know, I'm also working on my own indie game called Field of Arms, which takes place in the 18th century. And this configuration is an 18th century thing. It's just that it's done with two baldricks or two torso or chest belts. And you may have seen, soldiers from the 18th century up to the Napoleonic Wars, that they have these two crisscrossed belts on the chest. And usually one carries ammunition, or if it's a grenadier, like some of the grenades, things like that. And the other one carries not just the sword, but also in front, like a little bit downwards, the bayonet. So when you hear fixed bayonets, they pick it up from here. So what I came up with is, again, with the whole clipping issue, is that if you're using some of the pouches from the other mod, from Drakten's mod, and then your character is also using a sword or a dagger, they're gonna clip through the pouch. And I'm gonna show you that in game in the next part of the video. And what I wanted to do is add, an add-on that allows your character to have some more carry weight without clipping, and that looks and feels, organically, natural, the same colors, the same patterns from the game, and also that it doesn't collide or mess up with other mods that have already, that precede it. So I hope you enjoy this when I publish it, and I also hope you enjoy our game Field of Arms when it comes out. I will keep you posted on this, and okay, without any further delay, I'm going to show you how this looks in game. I want you to pay attention to this scabbard holder, the one that I was talking about. Good morning to you. And there's the combination of the sword and the dagger. The things barely clip, and it doesn't look like you have like a bunch of models like poorly loaded, one on top of the other. And you know, some areas may be too busy, but in a game like Skyrim, in which you can like port so many weapons, so many things, having them each take a particular place that makes sense, it's you know, it's kind of like excuses the whole hoarding thing. Well, in any case, let's ready the weapon, see how. You see, there's barely any clipping there. I think it's even better when you have the weapon ready. Now the shield and the back animation didn't play. That's weird. Hmm. Very odd. Yeah. Well, in any case, that's because of my load order so bloated up with mods. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and see what I was talking about with trying to avoid clipping and creating assets for a game, mod assets that do feel like fit in with the whole texture and art style. Well, take care and keep playing. Okay, now the animation wants to play. Yeah, put the shield on the back. Wow.